welcome to another edition of the Bullheaded Podcast. I am your host, per usual, Sean Tyson, here with Zoo and Peebush. How are you guys doing?
Doing well, man. We've been blessed with some beautiful NBA games these past couple nights. Shout out Jimmy G, gets buckets, man. Zoo and I, big longtime fans of Jimmy G, starting his days with Thibodeau on the bench, averaging maybe 3 minutes a game, 2 points. And look where he's at now, dropping a 56-piece and being top 5 all-time in individual playoff performances. So, and then we got the draft coming up. So it's just been kind of coming in like a blur, and we're already kind of entering the beginning of the NFL season. So a lot to be excited about.
Yeah, lots of NBA, man. Every night's busy watching these games. In the East Coast, man, I had to stay up till like 1 a.m. watching that Lakers-Memphis Grizzlies game and to go in the office. So, man, staying up late for these East Coast, late 10 o'clock, 10 p.m. Eastern games, man. But, man, what an end that game was, man. A lot of unbelievable games. Obviously, the virtuoso last night by Jimmy Buckets, man. Some tight games with the Sacramento Kings and the Warriors, man. That was an all-time game, too. So, like, there's a lot of good series going on, man, outside the Sixers-Nets.
Yeah. Touche.
That was definitely not one of the better series. But I think that series the next. And listen, shout out to Atlanta. You got one game, but I think it's going to be a gentleman's sweep. But that
and DeJounte too, man. He touched the ref, and now he's out.
Yeah, that's unless Trey just goes God mode, which I don't see. He could go God mode, but it won't matter. But speaking of the NFL, the draft is here. They moved the format to where they got it on Thursdays now in the first round, and it's a lot of intriguing prospects. Every year quarterbacks, like, they're in the middle of the rounds. There's maybe the top 2, but I'm probably sure there's going to be at least 4 or 5 that get selected in the first round. So I wanted to ask the guys which particular team in the first round, which way would they go? Would they go offensive line? Would they go defensive line? Would they go impact corner? There's a bunch of scenarios in Peebush. So I'm gonna start with you.
Well, this is I know you guys probably seen similar reports, but a lot of GMs are saying that this could be one of the craziest drafts in a long time. There's a lot of stuff just being thrown around social media, tanking player stocks, rising stocks like Will Levis, for example, the QB out of Kentucky. And it's really hard to just, I think it's just teams kind of messing with each other and seeing who's going to end up drafting somebody too high or, a team betting on somebody falling. So I think there's going to be a lot of trade movement in this draft. I think the Lions could potentially move up in the draft. The Cardinals might be willing to trade their 3rd pick down. But, man, I'm already going to go. You guys know where I'm going with this, man. I'm going to go with the team that already made the trade. My Chicago Bears, man. Zoo's 2nd favorite team.
Mm-hmm. They're my adopted team.
Okay.
My adopted son.
Well, we're rejecting that adoption.
My bastard.
Try again next year.
Yeah, try again next year. But, yeah, man, I think it's pretty enticing. So the Bears are at 9 right now. I think if they decide to stay at 9, which I'm pretty confident they might even trade back again. But if they do keep 9, I think one of the top 2 tackles in the draft, Peter Skoronski, I believe is his name, out of Northwestern, solid pick. Him and Paris Johnson Jr., the tackle out of Ohio State, I think are pretty consensus. I think the Georgia tackle might be up there as well. I can't think of his name off the top of my head, but those are kind of the top 3.
Broderick Jones.
Yeah, Broderick Jones. There you go. I've seen mock drafts with them potentially getting any one of those 3 guys. It really just depends if somebody else trades up or wants to make the reach, like the Raiders, for example, who are definitely going to try and protect Jimmy G as much as they can out there in Vegas. But if they do trade back, I would not be opposed to the Bears taking Bijan Robinson, man. I think that could be a potential if they trade back. I saw one thing today. I think it was the Bucks. The Bucks at the 19th pick right now. They might trade up to that 9th spot and hope that, maybe Anthony Richardson or Will Levis is still there. They need a quarterback. I mean, they're desperate, right? They got a lot of talent in that, in that team, but they don't really have a great quarterback to get them the ball. So if they do that, and Bijan Robinson, man, out of Texas, had an unbelievable year last year. Could you imagine him and Fields along with Herbert and Deontay Foreman at the goal line? I mean, that team wouldn't be stopped.
3-headed monster.
That's too many, though, man. Khalil Herbert, man, give the brother a chance, man.
Would be established real quick, though.
Yeah, give the brother a chance, man. Every time last year as a backup when he comes in, man. Super quick, man. Got great pass catch.
What do you always say, Zoo? You take the best available player at the spot in which
he would be number 1 in that backfield. Respect to Herbert, but come on.
100%. Besides Fields, maybe.
No. But I'm telling you, there's a reason why the Chicago Bears got the first overall pick, man. They have a lot of holes on the team.
Yeah.
So you're saying with that first round pick this year, you want to go for the running back position, probably the most replaceable position right now in football, in draft.
We got to think. Let's just use the Bucs as an example. I think they're 19th, right? So they'd be moving up 10 slots. That's a lot of slots to move up and getting solid compensation back. I'm not saying, I still think personally they should take a stud tackle if they keep it at 9. If they trade back, those 3 guys are probably going to be gone by that point. I mean, there's really high-level tackles.
Yeah, 19. Yeah, probably.
There's a lot of edge rushers in this draft. There's some decent corners. And then you kind of got like Smith and Jigba, right? He's the obvious number 1 wide receiver. And then you got Bijan as the obvious running back. The Bears don't need a quarterback. They could use an edge rusher, but I think like Will Anderson and Jalen Carter will be gone by that point. They've been able to hold their stock kind of in that top 6 or 7 at this point. So, I mean, and at cornerback, we do have some solid corners. I think we have really good safeties, great linebacking core now. We do have a great offensive guard. So I really think it's you go left tackle if nobody wants to trade up for 9. If they do, I don't know how you could pass up on a potential stud running back. That what if Khalil Herbert doesn't work out and you just missed out on one of the best running backs in the next 3 years? Nobody, that's a risk you got to take, especially with that duo of an attack that could be something along the lines of Lamar Jackson and J.K. Dobbins. So I don't know that when healthy.
I'm not a big fan of J.K., bro. So no, I would rather have Bijan.
Well, yeah, exactly. But I'm just saying, like having you could also argue that Miles Sanders very much benefited from Jalen Hurts' ability to run the ball this year. So I'm just thinking that's where the league's going to. And now, as a quasi Bears fan, I want to hear your input on that.
Okay. First of all, Bijan Robinson, that was the player that I was looking for. I got another team. Ain't the Chicago Bears, man. When you go
I know where he's going.
Let's see. When you go for a stud running back, the roster's got to be ready, man, to win it now. So you're a Super Bowl contender already. And it ain't the Chicago Bears, man. They're rebuilding right now. Like a running back, why are you getting the icing when the cake's not even done yet, man? The RB is the icing, baby. Like, you got to have a cake first. And do you know who's got a cake first? The Philadelphia Eagles, baby. I was about to take the Sixers, man. I got the NBA on my mind, man. When we're talking about the Eagles, baby. Fly Eagles, fly, man. He said bye-bye to Miles Sanders. He's a cute little running back. Like, hey, we ain't going to pay you. You go to the Panthers. Perfect fit, man. Mediocre franchise for a mediocre running back, man. Beautiful fit, man. He was a product of the system, of the offensive line, and the beauty of Jalen Hurts. But when you Jalen Hurts, you get that bag right now, man. You're ready to go. You got that offensive line. You got the offensive weapons. I hear some rumors of King Henry. Now, we don't need King Henry. We get the new guy, Bijan, man. And like you said, dual threat running back with a guy like that. I'm gonna protect my boy Jalen Hurts in the regular season, man. I don't want Hurts QB sneaking all the time, risking injury. I'm protecting that body for the playoffs and for the Super Bowl. That's when we could, 1 year, let's just run it in with the big boy because that's winning time right there. So I'm going to preserve my QB from the regular season by getting this young stud running back. Obviously, you see running backs, the learning curve pretty easy, man. If you're a good RB in college, man, the adaptability to the NFL is probably the easiest out of all the positions, man. You just run and got guys blocking in front of you, man. You go left or right, man. It's not that difficult. You're stronger, faster than the guys in front of you. You're good to go. And with that offensive line, it's going to be real easy getting touchdowns with that offensive line, man. And Bijan, man, with Hurts, that's a match made in heaven. They got 2 picks in the first round. Maybe they could trade back a little because at the 30th pick, I don't know if they're going to be able to get Bijan, so maybe trade up a little. But my goodness, I think that is the perfect fit for Mr. Hurts, man. Get a new bell cow.
I'd be going against my own logic if I disagreed with you.
So. But the difference is one team's building something. Another team's right there. They were a couple possessions away from beating the Kansas City Chiefs last year, man. A couple of possessions away. So they're ready to win now, and pretty much the roster's set, man. Coach, quarterback, man, they're all in line right now. You got still the sub receivers. You got most of your players are extremely young, so it's time to win now. And this is what you do. You bring a young running back, because young running backs peak in their prime in the first 3-4 years. So you want them at their peak. Exactly. Zeke, win now, right now. Like, you got Bijan, the Bears, they ain't going to do nothing, man. Saquon all over again. You got Danny. You got.
Are you comparing Justin Fields to Danny Dimes?
No. I'm comparing when the New York Giants, who was not a good football team, take Saquon Barkley, who was great, but you ain't impacting winning when your team is young and still rebuilding, though, man. You get the icing at the end, man. Got to first bake the cake first. So by that logic, man, Eagles are ready to eat, man. They ready to eat.
Bears offense could be interesting, man. You gotta. I think you're underselling how many off-season acquisitions that they made to solidify positions that they now don't need to address in the draft, like linebacker, corner, safety, wide receiver. I think they're solid there. They have a good tight end. It's really O-line, running back, and then D-line. And that's it.
But if you had to pick, you would pick. So if you had to pick between a lineman and a running back, you would go Bijan. That's what I'm saying. Like
where. Because if they don't trade back, I'm not taking Bijan at 9. I'm taking one of the tackles. But if they trade back and maybe they get compensation, another great second rounder, and 3 second rounders now, that could fill up your O-line right there. 3 second round picks right there.
Yeah.
I mean, you can still get great players that can adapt well to the NFL. So
you have to trade back, yeah.
I have the trade back potentially happening. I give it like a 55% chance there. I actually give a slight majority on them trading back. Where it goes, I'm not sure, but I think they might do it.
So I'm more with Zoo on his logic with you got to have the running back go to the team that's that's basically in win now mode. So I'm with him on that. The only thing I would bring up is with Derrick Henry, depending on his contract, what would be the compensation to where, say, Tennessee is like, look, we only want a 4th and maybe a 5th for Derrick Henry. And if you're the Eagles, you don't have to give up either of those first. And you have the choice of, because for me, if I'm the Eagles and I got those 2 first, I would plunge with Bijan at that 9th pick. But if you're like, I like another player and I may want to risk Bijan on the back end, which he's not going to be where the Eagles is going to draft that 2nd pick. I don't think. He could be, but I don't think he's going to be there. Would you rather just take Bijan at 9, or would you be like, I'll just give up a 4th or a 5th for Derrick Henry and just say, look, we got this guy for a year or two, and then, like, to your point, Zoo, running backs come every year. Like, I don't think Bijan is so special where there's not going to be another guy that's probably equal to what he is the next year. So it's just kind of like, and that would be the even more win now mode, because Derrick Henry definitely doesn't have the pass catching ability that Bijan has, but boy, like that tough running, and like you said, you kind of already have kind of a pass catching back with Kenneth Gainwell that's already under contract. So I mean, I don't know. I would definitely. That's a lot of options to weigh, because I'm in that Bijan hive too. Like, he's the more complete back, so he's not going to come off the field, but that's just something I was looking into. So I think for me, Bijan was my first one that I had. But another thing that I was looking at was receiver wise, and the first team I looked at was the Buffalo Bills, and I was like, respect to Gabriel Davis. I think he's a nice 2 to 3 option. Like, on his highs of highs, he could be a 2, but on most of his days, I think he's a 3. So I think Josh Allen needs more weapons. You could say he needs a running back. Maybe they could find one in the 2nd or 3rd round, but I think they need to get him another receiver, because in this league, like we all know, you got to have at least 3 receivers that are legit. You can't just have one legit guy and a bunch of nobodies. And so I was looking at some of the receivers that would maybe be in that region. And I feel like there's 2 guys. Zay Flowers, who was at Boston College, who was a huge 5'10", 185, 190 slot guy who's super fast, can eat underneath. I think he would be a good option. Or you could go Jordan Addison, who's more of the 6'1" route running type of guy. I just feel like I would maybe lean more towards Zay Flowers, because he's a more of an explosive option. And with Stephon Diggs basically playing the outside receiver role, I think Zay Flowers could eat underneath. So I think that's an option that I think would be really good. And I think another no-brainer after we didn't really get to talk about this because it happened yesterday with Aaron Rodgers being with the Jets. You got to go get some linemen. Like Mekhi Becton, he's been hurt a lot. They're saying he's lost a lot of weight. He might be able to play either tackle position. I feel like there's 3 tackles in the first round that could go. Whichever one of those guys is there, Paris Johnson, the Northwestern kid, and Broderick Jones, take one of them. Because same thing with Tom Brady. As soon as he got to Tampa Bay, they were like, we need Tristan Wirfs. Get him.
Yeah, you're right.
And it was like, he ended up proving to be pretty good because he helped them in that Super Bowl run. So to me, I feel like you got to, and I think the Jets, they can afford to do that because everywhere else they're stacked. Like, they got most of their positions figured out. Yeah. So I think they could not waste a pick, but get a pick on the offensive lineman because you want to protect Aaron. You just want.
And on the other side of that, I think the Packers what are they at 13 now?
13.
I think they jump and take
Or
Smith
15.
and Jigba.
Another receiver.
Jackson.
Yeah,
they have
to help out Love. Yeah.
Yeah.
That would be nice with.
Or they take a tackle to help out
Watson.
Love.
Yeah, that would be nice with Watson though. Like him, that potential trio of Dobbs, Watson, and Jigba, like that could be nice. Jordan Love could eat. He could eat.
Man, oh, he eating some donuts, man. He ain't eating on the field. That's all I know, man. Jordan Love, man.
Hey,
give him a chance.
Give him a chance.
I'll give him a chance. I'll give him game one, man. I'm watching the whole game, minute to minute. I'm gonna psychoanalyze every move. Like a bomb after one game. I'm done with him, man.
He's gonna be Skip Bayless live tweeting that game, man.
Yeah. I think.
It'll be.
I think
the whole draft.
Yeah, the draft is every year. The first round is always going to be a bunch of surprises, but I do think, to your point, people, there's probably going to be way more trades because there's a lot of, rumors I've been seeing, especially like around Trey Lance, like he could be packaged in a deal. Lamar, something could happen with that. You saw Aaron Rodgers, even though he didn't go on draft day, he went on draft week. So there could be a lot of guys on the move that we didn't think necessarily was going to be playing or being in the plans of being moved. So we're going to be looking into that. Make sure you guys tune in to the draft on Thursday night. So the NBA playoffs, it feels like we do only do one pod a week, but man, I tell you, it feels like I was saying before the pod, 20 games go in between the week of us doing a pod. So, just going to ask the fellas, what have they seen? What has impressed? What has kind of annoyed them about the playoffs so far? And Zoo, I'm going to let you start this one off.
With my beloved Chicago Bulls not making the tournament, man, the playoffs, man, I had to find a new team, man, adopt a team for this playoff run of rooting interest, man. And I adopted the Sacramento Kings, baby.
Let's go.
I'm all aboard the Beam team, baby. The Beam team against the Golden State Warriors, man. I've been riding and dying for those games, man. Because first of all, entertainment value, man. Their high-paced offense is translated to the playoffs. Like regular season, they have the highest offensive rating in the NBA. Has the highest offense of all time. Obviously, it's skewed based on the pace of the game. But that's just a fact right now. And that is translated against the Golden State Warriors team that historically has been a good defense. But they've been getting whatever they want. And De'Aaron Fox, man.
Best point guard in the league.
Fox, right? I still remember when De'Aaron Fox initially did not make the All-Star game by the coaches. The coaches could have voted him. And at the initial vote, De'Aaron didn't make it. I thought that was complete blasphemy because that dude was having an all-NBA caliber year. And now in the NBA, man, I don't know if I could say that word, man. Superstar, man. He's playing like a superstar, man. He's playing like a superstar. His ability, everybody knows that De'Aaron is faster than everyone and a better athlete than everyone. His jump shot is nice, man. Yep. He perfected his mid-range jump shot. Like, he likes to go that left hand, go that nice little left side, mid-range shot, his pull-up shot. Yep. Oh, it's nice, man. It's a nice – every time they go below screens, man, barbecue chicken for De'Aaron Fox, man. And the Golden State Warriors, obviously, doesn't matter who's guarding. Like, they had to put – they switched Draymond Green on him because he was just cooking Jordan Poole, Steph Curry.
Not hard to do.
They tried Andrew Wiggins on him. Like, they try all these guys try to slow down De'Aaron Fox, but this guy on a fast break, unbelievable, man. His ability to get to the lane, dunk on people, finish jump shot, little teardrop floaters, man, right side, left side, man. His three-point shot in the fourth, absolute beauty, man. Like De'Aaron Fox, I don't know if people talking about Sabonis, man. No, Sabonis, best player, stop it. Just stop it.
No.
Stop
they need him. They need him to get going more.
They need him to get going. Like, this dude's struggling with Kevon Looney.
Yeah.
Kevon Looney, man. Like, Kevon Looney put up some Dennis Rodman-esque games on Mr. Sabonis, who's on pace to make an all-NBA team. But De'Aaron Fox right now, he's playing, like, his backcourt mate, Kevin Huerter, absolute bum in the playoffs, man. Like, this dude legit made his career by that one playoff game on the Atlanta Hawks when he went off against the Bucks and the Milwaukee Bucks. That's pretty much it. Got him a nice little contract with the Sacramento Kings. But he had one nice playoff game, and pretty much that's his entire playoff resume. But Kevin Huerter just can't hit any shots. Keegan Murray, he's a rookie, so it's understandable.
I like Keegan.
He struggled in the first couple games. Last game, he was hitting some nice threes, man. Hit some shots in the mid-range. Like, he was showing a lot of confidence in the previous game after struggling in the first couple games. But that was a nice little draft pick by the Sacramento Kings, a wing guy to fit with De'Aaron Fox. And Malik Monk too. I shout out Malik Monk. His ability to shoot threes in the clutch, man. Ability to hit free throws in the clutch. He reminds me of like a smaller J.R. Smith, man. That's my comp. That was my comp for him when he came into the league. But this dude is a burner from three, man.
Yeah.
So De'Aaron Fox right now, obviously carrying the load, getting that little injury in the finger. Hopefully, just wrap that bad boy up and let it ride because nobody can stop De'Aaron Fox. Like he is playing as well as Steph Curry. He's playing against the MVP.
He's playing better.
He's outplaying a former MVP and Finals MVP and one of the greatest players of our generation.
Mm-hmm.
That's what we got to think about. Because Steph Curry clearly has more help on his roster.
Yes.
He has the more experienced coach. His backcourt mate obviously is Klay Thompson, who just a massive upgrade over Kevin Huerter or Malik Monk. He got Wiggins who's come back. He's been playing really well for a guy.
Yeah, besides that missing that open three.
Oh, that open three, man. And I'm telling you, man, like Harrison Bricks, man, is back at it again, man. Like I still remember this brother going 0 for 8 in the NBA Finals. He back at it. They're like, yo, Draymond's like, I played with Harrison Bricks, man. I'm gonna help off of him. Stop De'Aaron. Gotta force the pass, even though I would prefer them pass to Malik Monk, who's on the right side. He passed it to Harrison Barnes because he got the clearer view. And when Harrison shot that shot, I'm like, Jesus Christ, that's a brick, man. I'm just like, not gonna lie, I sort of want De'Aaron to just chuck it out, like take a contested double team, man. Like I'd rather take those odds than Harrison bricking it. But it is what it is, man. The series is tied 2-2.
Should be.
I am really, really worried about the Sacramento Kings, man.
Same.
I'm telling you that that game reminded me of the NBA Finals against the Boston Celtics. It reminds me of that a lot. The momentum swing, obviously, Steph Curry with a virtuoso performance in a must-win game. You don't want to go down 3-1. You don't want to go down 3-1 and you're going on the road. So that loss, along with the injury, man, I'm really, really worried. But this Sacramento Kings is legit. Yep. They ain't a cute story. They're a beautiful story, man. They are a beautiful story, man. And this young team is building that young core for the future. They're in that Memphis Grizzly mode of being a perennial playoff contender for the foreseeable future as well. Just got to have some more veteran players along with this young core, man.
Yeah.
But shout out to Mike Brown. His offense is awesome. So, man, that's my favorite story so far in the playoffs, man. Oh, he was a unanimous coach of the year. Shout out to him. But, man, that's my favorite story so far right now. The Sacramento Kings, man. That series has been awesome to watch.
That's easily the best series in the first round, honestly. I think a lot of us expected that. You know, I think at least on the Western side. On the Eastern side, the Knicks-Cavs series, man. That's been rather revealing, I think, for both sides.
3-1, man.
3-1. Brunson's been playing.
Somebody looking funny in the light. I don't know who, though.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. All I know is Thibodeau made a bold decision and the right decision in benching Julius Randle. And when they did that, they were able to close out the game. I mean, in games 3 and 4, all they did was they pretty much said, okay, you know, Mitchell and Garland, one of them is going to have a good game. In game 3, I think Garland shot like 4 of 21. He had like 10 points or something like that. That was a god-awful. Was that the lowest scoring game of the season? I think it was 79 or something like
lowest scoring for not scoring 8 points.
Brutal. And look, man, the Grizzlies even scored more after only putting up 9 in the first quarter. So, I mean, this NBA playoffs has been interesting. But shout out to the Knicks defense, man, and shout out to RJ Barrett for stepping up because I think a lot of people were like, all right, it's going to be Julius and Brunson. It's actually really been Brunson, RJ Barrett, and then a huge boost from Josh Hart. Absolute, unintended, man. He leaves his heart on the floor. He hustles. He kind of reminds me, Zoo, of that, what's the kid from UConn, man, that just does it all. That's kind of what they ask him to do. Just go out there. Andre Jackson, man. If Andre Jackson could eventually develop a jump shot somehow, I could see him having a Josh Hart type role, putting up, maybe 14, 15, and 10, and being a good defender. So, shout out to Thibodeau. He's always going to have his guys, really dive in and clamp at least one of those two guards because one of them is going to have a great night. And then we see in game 4, Mitchell comes out, goes 5 for 18. And Zoo, I'm going to quote you here, man. You said it's the worst Donovan Mitchell performance playoffs that you had seen, especially after some of the stuff we've seen him do, dropping 50 pieces in the bubble back in 2020. So I don't know, man. I thought the Knicks were going to win this series. I think I may have even used the word easily last week. I didn't think it would be this easy. Still one game to go. And they are going back to Cleveland, I think, for game 5, right? So I do expect this one to at least go 6. I don't think it'll be a gentleman's sweep, but they really need Julius Randle to do something and do it efficiently. And the Cavs need to get somebody else going other than Mitchell and Garland because it's just been painful to watch.
On the Cavs side of things, man, like they got these young bigs and Jared Allen and Evan Mobley, man.
Yep.
They're getting destroyed this series.
Yep.
Absolutely. Like
Mitchell Robinson.
He is dominating, man, in the paint. Like,
I thought I'd say that.
He's not going to do much on offense, but his defensibility, his wingspan, it is really bothering the Cavs bigs. Along with the bench guys, like this Hartenstein guy, big body out there playing defense too, getting offensive rebounds up there, man. Like the Cavs bigs, like Evan Mobley, man. Even though like this is super
Rookie
young,
of the year.
Super young, yeah, rookie of the year, man. People like think he's going to develop into the next great like young big. Like his comparison was like Kevin Garnett. Oh, ain't close yet, man. His offensive game is very mechanical. Like he is just not confident on that side of the court. Defensively, he can already switch on to point guards. Like his defensive ability to play pick and roll switch defense, like he's already there as an NBA defender in the playoffs. But his offensive game, like I see him try to do a little jump hook, man. I'm just like, yeah, his offensive game is just not there. And Darius Garland, man, the physicality of the game is obviously affecting him a lot. Like he's a very small, like even out there, he looks really small, finesse guy. He's like he's a pure shooter guy. Like he obviously bounced back last game by having a good second half, but before that he had a terrible first half, and the game before that he had probably his worst game in his short playoff career. But he was god awful. So the physicality is affecting him as well as Mitchell. Like my God, the Knicks are freaking like Josh Hart, man. This guy's a dog on defense, man. There's a reason that Thibodeau compared Josh Hart to a young Jimmy Butler. Like a very young Jimmy Butler.
You would know.
When he was a hound dog, like he was a rough rider on defensive end, the guy off the bench, the wing guy that didn't really have much of an offensive game. So like a young Jimmy Bucket's just D'ing up people, getting offensive rebounds, shooting open threes. Like he's doing a terrific job. What an acquisition. They were able to flip that Cam Reddish into Josh Hart, who's playing a major role on a playoff contender right now. So I have to give the Knicks a lot of props on the front office for getting a trade done that low-key people say, yeah, Josh Hart is like, he didn't have that good of a year. But right now, Thibodeau is fully maximizing this guy on this New York Knicks roster.
Knicks to the finals, man. Knicks to the finals.
I think the city would burn down if that happened, man. Jesus Christ.
Yeah, I don't think Zoo
actually play.
They shut down 7th Avenue after one win, man. I'm telling you, man.
They might actually – that ain't crazy to say because they play Boston tough.
Yeah, and they don't even have to go
play
through
Boston
next round.
tough. And if they got there and if they play the Heat, I would pick the Knicks in that Heat series.
Well, they play the Heat next.
Yeah. If, bar in mind, they beat the Bucks. But I'm just saying, if the Knicks and Heat meet, like, in the next round, I don't know. I could see it. So I think Peebles just froze. Did he? Yeah.
Yep.
I think the servers didn't like the internet servers or StreamYard servers didn't like him saying that Knicks going to the finals. I don't think that was wise for him to say.
Right there, man.
Yeah, blasphemy. But I'm definitely with you guys, the Knicks, man. One thing I think is really interesting with that series as well is the Cavs, even though you have Garland and Mitchell, their primary ball handlers, I don't think they have a point guard. And the Knicks do. Jalen Brunson's the leader. He's the guy getting in sets. He's the guy that's able to, just score at will and do what he needs to do. So for me, I don't know what the growth of Cleveland could be in the backcourt with Garland. Does there need to be an established pecking order of, hey, guess what? I'm the point guard. I'm going to be being the guy bringing up the ball. If that's Garland, he needs to maybe be more assertive and do that. But I think also with Evan Mobley, man, I think him also being the third option, he kind of is just more like, okay, I got Garland and I got Donovan Mitchell back there. Let them just go do what they do, and I'm just going to pick up and maybe do a little bit of stuff on the side, but I'm not going to really be assertive. And I think that's just going to have to take time because I feel like he does have the highest ceiling out of all those guys. Mm-hmm. But for me, I just think he's struggling with that because, in his first playoff series, him being more assertive and dominant, I think it's easier to do that on the defensive end because he just has the skill set to just be effective that way. But I don't know if he has that dog yet to just tell Donovan Mitchell, like, yo, I need the ball. I need to be assertive and do what I need to do. So I don't know how that's going to come because, even though on paper Cleveland is the more talented team, they're still young. And I feel like they're going to have to establish some roles. And I do think they need at that 3 position, even though I like Okoro
that wing
defense,
position, man.
They need a shooter there. They need a knockdown guy.
Because Isaac Okoro gets like 5 open threes a game. and he's like shooting 1 for 5. Like Isaac Crow's always open in that corner, and there's a reason why, because this dude's a liability on offense, and like they don't have not that much better of a dude. The other options because it's Jetty Osmond. I'm okay with Jetty Osmond chucking up top of the key threes. Like their options at the 3. Like I was talking about, like someone like a Bogdanovich, man. Like someone like that as a wing guy that could jack up threes, man, play defense and be a ball handler, man. The 3 position on the Cavs right now, they're exposing them. Like the Cavs spacing, even as far as they have a 3 right now that's not hitting jump shots at all. So the spacing there is just not there. They have a traditional forward and power forward and center positions who's all manning the paint. So the spacing on the Cavs right now in this modern day basketball is absolutely garbage. Absolutely garbage. You got 3 guys in the starting lineup who are non-shooters. So, like, they ain't getting it done. Like, right now, most teams right now are rocking 4 3-point shooters and maybe 1 big who's like a rim runner right now. And that's on most modern offenses. And this Cavs team is doing like a traditional offense with 3 guys that can't shoot the basketball. And obviously, you see the low-scoring game, dropping 93 points, 79 points. It's the lack of spacing. Donovan Mitchell and Garland doesn't have space to operate on one-on-one because it's easy to help off of all these bums, a.k.a. Isaac Okoro and Jetty Osmond. So, like, that's one thing that I'm looking at. This roster is absolutely getting exposed by the New York Knicks defense right now. And Tom Thibodeau, man, you see those bad shooters, man? Tom Thibodeau knows all about bad shooters, man. He can help off of those guys.
They might have to get rid of Allen in terms of just like spacing. To your point, they might have to get rid of Allen. I don't think
give him to the Bulls.
I don't think he's the greatest fit with Mobley. Now that Mobley has shown he's a defensive stopper, but I think we're all agreed on the Cavs. You know, going out west, it just sucks that Kawhi's hurt again. Like it's the fact that we got the game 1 of him just being
unreal,
you know, super Kawhi, and then it goes from that to his knees just being out of commission, and it's unfortunate because, you know, I do think if Paul George was healthy and Kawhi was healthy, this series would have been way more entertaining, just like the Sacramento and Golden State series. I think they both would have went 7. But, you know, now that we know that's pretty much a wrap, and they have one more game, but I think that's pretty much a wrap. I am a little concerned about Phoenix. Their guys are playing a lot of minutes, and they have like we already knew this, but they have absolutely no bench. So if anybody gets in foul trouble, it's a wrap. Like it's a wrap, and I'm not a fan of that. So we're gonna see. Like most of the other series, we already, you know, Anthony Edwards did his thing in that Minnesota or the Denver game. Shout out to him.
It's about time.
LA, I do think, you know, Memphis, the way that they empower Dylan Brooks to shoot and be an offensive threat is mind-blowing. It's especially with Luke Kennard on the team.
Man. He is a really bad offensive player. He is really, like, in the playoffs.
Disturbing how bad he is.
He's probably bottom, like, 2% in the playoffs, man. Because he can't hit threes. Like, he's not a good ball handler. I don't think he's a good passer. He's just a 0 on offense. Like, obviously, he's there for his defense, and that's his role. And that's, like, this is also a roster that's very similar to the Cavs. They have 3 position, man. They need a guy like a Mikal Bridges, man, who's a 2-way guy. Because they got a guy.
They should have made that trade.
Yeah, they have a guy in Dylan Brooks who's great at defense, sucks on offense, and a guy off the bench in Luke Kennard, who's the best sniper in the league right now, shooting almost 50% from 3, but his defense is lacking. So they have these 2 one-way guys where you got to pick the sniper or pick the defender. So obviously that's such a massive hole on the roster right now, and he's getting exposed. And like they just keep allowing Dylan to keep chucking up his threes because he got no conscience, man. Like the thing with Draymond Green, man, he knows he's a bad shooter, so he doesn't take many shots.
He doesn't shoot.
Dylan Brooks, he's like J.R. Smith, except you're not a good shooter. Like he's just unconscious when he shoots threes. So it's really bad for their offense.
It's annoying to watch him play, especially when he takes 14 shots in a game. That they do not need him taking any more than 7 or 8 at most, and they better be good looks too.
Wide open.
And then that Roddy guy off the bench taking 10 shots. I mean, I know he's hit some big threes for them, but man, you can't be allowing that. I mean, their entire team is in shambles from 3-point land. I mean, I think they shot like 20%. I think between like
Desmond Bain didn't even shoot. He shot like 3 for 12, I think, last night.
4 of 12, 3 of 12, something like that. I mean, if you combine Bain, Morant, and Brooks, I think they combined for like 25 threes, and they made 5 of them. 5. You can't. And we saw Ja hitting insane threes in that Game 3 performance where he almost brought him back himself. But yeah, man, it's the Lakers are running right now, and it's just they're rising and the Grizzlies are falling, and it's just primed for.
And the Lakers have guys like they have different guys that could have takeover moments. That's the thing about them that's interesting. Going if they do make it to the next round, they just have guys that can get hot. Like you had Rui in the first game go crazy. You had Austin go crazy. Then you have Schroeder. You'll have Rui still have a good game too. You'll have D'Angelo come in, maybe have a couple assists, but then you have him where he'll get hot and make those three threes in a row, like a heat check. Like you just have guys who can go up and down. Like they all are not consistently playing well at the same time, because then you would probably be looking at them as title favorites. But they have guys that can come in, and if you look at a lot of these guys' background, they were high picks. Like D'Angelo was number 2, Rui was a lottery pick. Reeves wasn't, but like a lot of those guys were first round guys. Vanderbilt, I think, was a first round guy, late first round. Like they have guys that can go get buckets. So I think part of the reason why Anthony Davis can have really great games and really bad games is because you have other guys supplementing, his up and down and lackadaisical performances, that's going to be an issue. He needs to bring it every game because. He had 12 shots, 13 shots,
like
maybe 4 or 5.
4 for 13, man.
Come on,
man.
man.
That's not awful.
Come on.
That's a big
and you're playing against a Grizzlies team.
He did make big plays, I will say that. Overtime fourth quarter.
He's playing a team without 2 of their setters and he's struggling that much. Imagine if Steven Adams, the brick house, is guarding him, man. AD, I assume he was going to dominate this series, obviously, with the lack of big man. But you guys like Tillman giving him trouble.
Yeah. Tillman's been nice for them, too. He looks like Iguodala, man. I thought it was Iguodala for a second.
He looks like a third-string center.
He looks like Iguodala, man. It's just funny. But, hey, man,
does a little bit in the face.
The other thing, Austin Reeves, man, he belongs down there in Miami with Jimmy Butler, man. Just add to that undrafted class, man.
They might throw the money at him for real, bro.
They don't have money to spend, man. They got like $200 million on the bench.
Kyle Lowry, man. Jesus Christ, that dude's so useless.
I saw him out there doing a little pick and roll action, rolling around, doing a little pick and roll action.
I see the brother out there doing cardio.
He's got a little use
that way, man, because I don't see him producing any numbers, man.
That's his cardio for the week.
Dude, it is, man. I swear to God,
he's going to catch you.
He didn't do anything in the box score. Like I don't see
when
him
the Heat
putting
play. Yeah, with the Heat Knicks play, don't go to a game zoo because he's got this pod's going out, and I'm gonna hashtag when I put it on the YouTube on the account. I'm gonna hashtag Kyle Lowry just so he sees it, and I'm gonna give him a timestamp so that when he comes to New York for the next round, like you're done.
I see this dude giggling out there like, I got $30 million a year to do nothing. It's such a waste, man.
Also,
highway robbery, man. Charged with theft.
I do got to say real quick, man. As an Indiana guy, man, I feel for Oladipo. You saw it happen live. I mean, the non-contact, and he knew right away, man. He just said, nope. Can't catch a break. It might be the end of his career. And he finally got to play with Cody Zeller again down there in Miami, man. Former college teammates. But
Cody Zeller to go bald.
Yeah, man.
Every time it zooms out him on the bench, I'm like, Jesus Christ, man. Shave your head, please.
Just go bald.
Dude, take your face off my TV, man. It's disturbing.
Either go bald or get the plugs where,
one or the other.
It makes you look like you got a head of hair.
Call Derek Carr's guy. He can hook it up, man.
For real. So, yeah, the first round's about to start, like, wrapping up. The second round is definitely going to have some matchups that we're going to be interested in. But I'm hoping we get 7 games with Sacramento and Golden State. It's going to be interesting to see De'Aaron with, his injury, if he's able to play. I've seen some guys.
They say doubtful. He's playing. He's playing.
Yeah, he's going to play. I've seen some guys say they played with that injury, but it's just people, it being his shooting hand. It's just like, I don't know how ambidextrous he is to, maybe be able to get some layups off the glass with his right hand.
The crazy part is he injured that in the third quarter. So he played that all in the fourth, and he was balling. So it didn't really affect him. I don't know if it was just adrenaline that the dude
probably adrenaline.
Yeah. But we'll see how he responds from that because I'm praying, De'Aaron. Because they need him to drop 30 to win every game. They need him.
And they really need this next game because I think if they lose this one, it might be.
If they lose the next game, it's over. It's over.
Yeah.
You don't go back to Golden State, who's just unreal at home. It's over if they lose the next game.
Yeah. So we're definitely going to be staying tuned. Next week we'll probably be in the second round with some series, and we're going to be figuring out who's going to be advancing to the conference semis. So you guys make sure you're locked in. Like I said again, NFL draft is this Thursday. Tune into, I think it's on ESPN. I'm not sure. I always forget what channel it's on, but tune in to ESPN. And also, while you're tuning in to that, tune in to Quantro Knows on YouTube. I put shorts, videos, 15-second videos, 30-second long videos, things of that nature. Listen to us on Google Podcasts, Spotify, Apple. That are the three main audio mediums that you can listen to us on. And also tune into bullheaded_pod for Instagram. I do stories, reels, all that type of stuff that you see on most social media platforms. And for me, Zoo and P. Bush, we are out.